Alright, so here we go. We've filled in a lot of a room. We've added the podium and we've replaced the green crystal armor with the black armor, or well, the black hull. And it looks fantastic far out. You see little connection lights going on. The podium's lit up. It's really awesome. And I like the podiums just on a single stick as well. It looks really cool. You can see here all the different little voter areas are all added in. It is fantastic. So they all work. They all have doors, which is great. You can see how cool it is when someone has attention, you can see, against everyone else. You're not going to miss that. So the dark room really helps for that. But it is a bit of a contrast between all the rest of this, which is great. So you can see that's what it looks like now with all the voter modules in. So we're going to have to add some elevators in to go up and down to all these different spots, which is going to be awesome. And we're going to have to do that because otherwise there's just too many to go to. But it's going to be awesome. You can then see also the green light, red light, which ones are occupied and which ones aren't. We're going to have 4 different sections. You can see here because there's 4 different places, 4 different sides rather. And you'll be able to lock them up. They all work. They all lock fine, and you know, so people don't mess around. But it's all templated fine and loaded in great, which I'm very pleased about. You know, all these blocks loaded in. There's been a couple times where it hasn't loaded in properly, but whatever. But you can see what sort of an experience it is to walk into this room and suddenly you're there. Alright, and here's the actual podium. You can see it's just a single stick. And they actually enter through the roof, which is really cool. So we're going to have a gravity lift that goes up and down from there. You can imagine just entering into this room like that. It's going to be fantastic. So we got all the controls for everyone, for the person on the podium, just here. And we're also going to add an area trigger around this whole area so that people don't mess with whoever's on the podium as well. And we're going to add, or start adding in as sort of a hallway or a lobby on the top, and then we'll start adding in our admin area, which will be the top of the station. So it's crazy to think we're slowly getting towards the top of the station. It's going to be great. But here it is. I'm very pleased with how it looks, and you can see there's really good views of who's standing on the podium. And they've got a good view of everyone else, so, and they'll be able to control everything from there. So I really like this room. It looks really cool. But we're going to keep at it and go from there. Okay, so we've added our admin area. You can see it's a really cool lobby with our little pirate symbol on the top. We've gone for this blue-orangey, contrasty sort of theme. And we've got here the entrance into our actual Parley Chamber for the adjudicator on the podium themselves. So you can see there, they drop down and be able to see everything from there, which is great. And then they can actually go and see all the logic running down all the way. It runs straight down through the podium. So I really like that. It's really subtle. So there's no crazy cables going everywhere. And then this 4th button here is for the gravity lift to go back up. And it's good because we can just put that gravity module wherever we want, which is awesome. And then those lights will change. And we've also added in the area trigger. So this area trigger actually triggers gravity for anyone trying to fly in and mess around with whoever's on the podium. So if they're flying up, they're just going to fall straight onto the ground. And there's no gravity modules to be able to kind of toggle that. I don't know what's going on there on the edge. It's kind of not loaded properly. But it's there. It is there. So if we look around, you can see it's surrounding. And also if you fall off the podium, we've filled in the bottom as well. Which is good. So if you happen to fall off, the gravity will kick in and then your gravity will go off. And so you can fly back up onto the podium as well, which is good because no one wants whoever's adjudicating to fall off the podium. So that's the podium there, and we'll be able to switch all the switches. We'll also change the lights because there's indicator lights for the voting and the such, so you're aware of what it's all up to. Whether or not it's being tallied or a vote's in progress, and then we'll keep this white light in the middle on all the time, so at least it's lit up a bit. And then the gravity flies up, and you can see we arrive back up here, which is awesome. So I really like this room. So we've got these entrances. Some entrances will go to lifts that go up to the admin areas. Other ones will be to access this room, and other ones might go to other sections. And then this skull will be the bottom of our admin area, which will be great. And we'll have a giant model of the actual station itself above that. We have all these indicators, so we're aware of absolutely everything that's happening. And then on the wings, we'll also have some more detailed stuff for that as well. So it's all coming together slowly, but it's going to look awesome. I think it's going to be a really big admin area. We have a lot of conduits, like logic conduits, that we need to run up here to be able to use for feedback, so we're able to switch stuff. Things like the hangers, so we can toggle or kick people off docks if they're messing around. Like, I want to be able to control a lot of stuff from up here, which is going to be awesome. So that's why our conduits are so big. You can see over here, they're quite large conduits, and they all connect up to everything else, is because we want to be able to run all that logic up into that admin room. And what's this block? And so we're able to run all the logic all around. It doesn't matter about the pipes. That's why we've got the mesh there. It's just so we can see where it's coming from, but so we don't have people flying around running into everything. So we'll be able to control the docks. We'll be able to control the different doors, and we'll also have feedback about what doors are open. We'll be able to also lock down stuff as well, which will be great. So we've got all these different logic rooms, and it's slowly coming together. There's a lot of logic already going in, and we've got these areas that we can still fill in if we have any other stuff that we want to add in. But the logic, a lot of people are like, oh, why do you use logic? Well, it's really quite powerful if you start adding a whole heap of stuff in, because we have all these different conduits. And we're able to enable or disable a lot of things. Our combo lock modules also come with a lot of logic controls for admins built in, like feedback if you forget what your code is, all this kind of stuff. And you'll be able to do that from that admin room. So you can see these are the conduits that actually feed all the way through to the room for these combo locks for the main hangars. As well as a whole bunch of other stuff like feeding the small connections from all the different landing pads as well. We've got the indicators built into that, but also we'll be able to control that. And there's substations built in, as well as the admin area on the top as well. So you can see we've got the landing pads, and there's a substation control room up the top, so you can see the logic from that feeds up into this room. Then we've got controls that then we saw the conduits that fed up all the way up to the other area, and even these ones on top which don't have that substation still feed out through, and these ones don't have any conduits on that side just yet, but we've got these large ones there if need be. And on the other side, we've also got the conduits, and they line up with those large conduits quite well as well. You can see just there, right next to them. So that'll be good when we're running all this stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of logic. So that'll all run up here, and it'll be great. So I've added in the elevator shafts that go up to our little areas here before you get into the chamber that we did earlier. So you can see they're enclosed. We've got 2 done. We've got 2 left to do. We'll just copy and paste it because it's easier. So you can see this is where you'd enter in through, and through into where everyone else meets, and it looks epic. So we'll close those doors. And then the elevator shafts run up and down. So on the 2 that are done, we have 3. On these ones, we'll have 5. Just to go to these 2 other areas just here. Now, if we go inside, you can see there's a lot of scaffolding, and we're using our modules there. I've set it up so that I've templated our elevator floor here with the doors, with all the doors, and including the module. So then what I can do is just copy and paste. Whenever I need to run an elevator, I can put it together pretty quickly. I don't need to mess around hooking up every little section here on the sides that would need to be hooked up. So then all I need to do is run the cables up and down, and then I'll also run the actual thing into where it needs to go, with all the buttons. But it runs really nice. If we jump out of the build block and actually go try it, you can see how well it is. So we've got the 5 there. You can see they have green and red lights, and that's because we've set it up in such a way that when you lock one of the rooms, it goes red, and we can see the red here. So we can see which rooms we have a potential to access. Now we can go to all of them. We can hit the button and fly down. Speed of gravity and then drop out. And you can see here we are at a room, and we can easily go inside and wander all the way through. And here we are. That door's always open. I always forget about it. And we can go up, we can go down, and then we've got this button here to go to the ground floor. And now we're on the top. You can see everything's very responsive. I can go down to the very bottom. And it looks really nice to use as well. And so they're all set up, and then each of these wings will be set up to actually go off into their area, so we don't start encroaching on here trying to build something underneath. So we'll start laying out those areas as well, obviously. Once we get these sections in, we'll have a better idea of how far those things are away from each other, and go from there. But it's pretty exciting to get those elevators in. There's a lot of logic involved. You can see there that this place is a minefield of logic. It's crazy. And we haven't joined up the voter modules yet for the adjudicator either, or put in the logic to run any of the result displays. So we got to still do all that, so a little bit of work in this area still to go, but it's going to be very exciting.